climatic upheaval is everything from El Nino, obviously, drought, famine, the whole, if you will, the worst-case scenario that you and I have postulated, talked about, decade on talk radio, 15 years ago on Art Bell for you. The thing is that do you think now, based on the amount of people buying Dare to Prepare and contacting you about safe places, do you think now you can see a noticeable and quantifiable change in the amount of awareness? I mean, let me ask you this. Let me maybe rephrase this. Are you seeing more panic now or more, let's say, this forceful concern?
Well, not panic per se. We've had, probably 2 or 3 people in the last 6 months that have asked for things to be sent express overnight or something like, Prudent Places or Dare to Prepare. But the main part we're seeing, which is really very prevalent, is family groups or groups of neighborhood friends in an area ordering cases, not just single thing, but cases of Dare to Prepare books at a time. This started actually in May of 2008, and it has gone all the way through to where we are now. It had a little bit of a dip last month where it slowed down a bit, but then it's back on again. I don't know what's making them wake up, but we're just having people ring and wanting consultations from Holly about what to do, where to go, and how do you do certain things. We've had people that are holding their own lectures about emergency preparation that are using our book, but also talking to her on the phone about things that they want quantified, that aren't in the book, to go further what she's got on the website. And all that stuff is free anyway, but they just want her to digest it. And we had one of those calls this morning. I think we've got another one coming Wednesday. Or tomorrow, tomorrow she did, Tuesday. But it does show signs of people waking up in clusters of very kind of awake people all of a sudden. And the common thing we're hearing from these at the moment is, look, I've been meaning to do this, been meaning to get the book, or been meaning to get the Prudent Places or to call you, but, I'll put it off until such and such happen. And it's current events that are motivating them. So, I think they're going to get real motivated shortly when things start to go to heck in a handbasket with the food prices, with the drought, the tornadoes and hurricanes. We're going to have hurricanes this season. They're going to be in different places, I reckon, than normal because of this weird El Nino position. And we're going to have crop failures. In Australia, they're looking at crop failures not due to drought so much. I mean, certainly that's hurt them, but they're watching for irregular weather patterns that, either causes, insects to eat crops or crops to be flooded at the wrong time or winds that might cut them off at the root when they're too young. But they're just, in each part of the world, there are different factors that they're worried about. And what I'm concerned about, as far as geological and food shortages, is what's happening in the Indonesian area of the Indian Ocean and west of there, off the tip of Sri Lanka. There are things brewing there that could very well signal massive crop failures and even tsunamis to the coastal areas of India and what is that? They're part of the northern part of Indonesia, where they already had a large quake offshore that did the damage in, what was that, 2005 or something? 4? I forget now when that big Victor 9 hit. What year was that?
2005. Correct us, ladies and gentlemen. My brain is a Monday brain right now.
Yeah, mine too. I mean, you and I both have got, and Holly, we've all got so many things rolling around up that we're trying to integrate all the time that, somebody say, what's your name? I'm thinking, name.
Yeah, I know. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
No, the thing I think, though, Stan, that's important is that right now and this is true, sensory overload. There is so much going on and trying to prioritize it and then trying to basically get it out there in a way that people can see it, is really important from the standpoint of I think a lot of people look to you or look to me or look to all of us that have talk radio programs and or websites to give them kind of an encapsulation. But I don't think people understand that when they shut off, our data streams run pretty much 24/7, and even in sleeping, you live with this stuff, Yeah,
and sometimes you don't sleep much.
Yeah. What is that, a word?
Yeah. You and I both know that. And And it's
right. By the way, it was December 26, 2004.
All right, it was 2004. I thought it was. The other thing that's kind of that parallels what we're talking about here, or segues into it, is what is it going to take to make Americans, particularly, wake up to realize that we've had enough. We're not going to take it anymore. You know, from the politics, from the weather, from the hiding of information on UFOs, all that kind of stuff. You know, what's it going to take? Is it going to take somebody having a shootout again, like another Waco, or is it going to take a collapse of the American dollar? Or is it going to take a major quake that just absolutely wipes, you know, towns in the United States West or in the New Madrid area? What do you think it's going to take?
Well, I think I can tell you what, you know, Jim Willie's in Costa Rica, okay, probably one of the most astute financial guys in the world. Mm-hmm. And basically what he said, and I just want to read this to you because it answers your question real quick.
All right.
From the standpoint of what's it going to take, okay? Because, again, you know, as the Scripture tells us the amount that 2 or 3 witnesses let every word be established. What happens when there's 2 or 3,000 witnesses, you know? And people all over, you know, the country, out of the country. I mean, 90% of my information now comes from out of the country. Do you believe that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and all of my gold and financial information comes from pretty much the Orient, the Caribbean, or Europe, and deep Europe, not London, okay? I just pretty much kiss that up. But let me read this to you. This is from Jim Willie's latest Jackass newsletter, or Hat Trick newsletter. He said this: "My best source of bank information confirmed the report of U.S. bank shutdown plans by the U.S. government. A confirmation came saying this report is 100% correct. It is much worse, and it will get a lot worse than most people can imagine their wildest dreams. The arising opportunities and rising risks are limitless. Those who get in early enough in the next 8 weeks will prosper." Now, here's what he's saying. One ex-U.S. military contact also confirmed the bank shutdown plans. He has friends located inside U.S. Homeland Security Agency. He said he passes on the word that the HSA, Homeland Security, has extensive drills to prepare for national riot control in early October. He also mentions that HSA has by far, well, I won't go in there, he's because the dumbest people, but he's saying this, Stan. He goes on to say that they are thinking that the bank's going to be closed in late August. That's what they're saying. So, when people see this, you cannot expect people that are no longer able to feed their families, no longer able to even hope that they have a future beyond how do they eat tomorrow, to sit passively. Now, also, today, massive information from military sources that there is movement all over the country of what people have been seeing, not just random military activities, but training, etc. But the other thing that's fascinating is one report is that in one of the biggest underground bases out in Indiana, in that area, they're already putting up, you're going to love this, the red signs, the blue signs, the green signs, and the orange signs. And this is from a retired high-ranking military guy. And he said, Steve, he said, I talked to a guy that was basically responsible for building the 2-lane highways into the substantial underground bases. So it seems like, Stan, they're expecting the absolute worst case.
Well, it's going to come. It's just a matter of what's going to trigger it. And certainly, I mean, the Obama administration is already warning its foreign offices and embassies to stock up on cash for September for a drop in the U.S. dollar, a catastrophic drop. And coupled with that, if you look at Russia and China are saying that if Israel attacks Iran, which we know is on the cards soon, they didn't say if Israel attacks Syria, which is also on the cards, but anyway, that if the United States does, that Russia and China are going to start, doing trade embargoes and starting a world war with the United States because of it. That's if Israel makes the attack, not the United States. And they're saying because the Israelis will be using territory that the Americans have in Iraq and some of the bunker buster bombs, about 100 of them that they've gotten out of the thousands they wanted during the Bush administration. And Bush wouldn't let them have the bunker buster bombs, for who knows what the real reason was. But anyway, so the Israelis are going to do what they're going to do with whatever they can, and this is going to trigger problems with the United States and China particularly. And China says one of the things we'll do if you let the Israelis attack Iran is that we're not going to buy any more U.S. debt. We'll stop right now, and then we'll see what you do. And of course, they're our biggest